Yeah, I'm a 5-star general and ain't nobody telling. I ain't just a criminal, I'm a lifetime felon. I mastered the avenue mass so I can spend my life excelling. I'm a hard knock original. I blow the seeds out your melon, bend to hell and back more than once. I've been a fucking Hellcat since my first school lunch. Get in line, feel the punch, feel your spines go crunch. Blow out your back, I got a hunch you ain't fucking with. Not one of the braids in my bunch. I'm a fucking hellraiser, raised to razors and blunts. Hunting from agents, undercovers, writing hundreds of pages. I'm a Neo in the Matrix, the needle in the haystacks. I'll leave you knee deep in the concrete and clay mix. Under the lake mist, sleeping with the crayfish. Premeditated massacre like a fucking AIDS list. Main green bud, medicating when I made this. Yeah, I'm a main fist, fighting for freedom.
What up, everybody? It's another episode of Behind the Door. New intro music. Just for today, this episode is dedicated to one of our close friends, brothers, Charlie Bellows, the mastermind. Charlie unfortunately passed away a couple weeks ago now, and I was here with Steve Gregoire. He coming back on the podcast second time, and I had asked Stevie to come because Brandon's out of town today, but I asked Stevie to come over and talk about Charlie and like what this man represents to us and like what he was about, and like part of the reason I do the podcast, man, because like try to help out and you know, for us, you know what I'm saying, like for people that like experience this like solitary confinement and the brotherhood of being locked up and all that stuff. So what's up, man? How you feeling about that?
Charlie Bellows, aka Mastermind, aka you got me through. AKA been one of my friends since we were kids. Charlie, like, he never changed. Nobody can ever say anything different. He was the same dude since we were teenagers all the way up. This is a sad day. This isn't like a great thing. I want to celebrate his life. I want to celebrate what he stood for. He's last of the dying breed. There's not many of us left from that generation. This generation is different from when we came up. And I love Charlie. I love the music. I love what he stood for. And I love how he just was who he was, and lived his life the way he wanted to live it from day one to the end.
That's the truth, man. You know, for me, when I heard the news that Charlie had passed away, like literally flashed me back. And I think one of the things that I want to talk about in this conversation is like, you know, the first thing I thought about was Charlie down, because I did a lot of time in solitary confinement with him from the time we were in the youth center to the main, you know what I mean, in the Supermax. And Charlie was the type of dude, and this is why it's like he was so important to people, is because he could transcend that environment in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? His music, like he was rapping. He was like the radio station on the tier, you know what I mean? Like he would rap for us every night. Sometimes he would do request nights, and you know what I mean? Like, and he would keep us going in a lot of ways. Like not even just the music, but like encouraging people to work out and stay healthy and keep your mind healthy while you're in that environment. And you know, that he taught me a lot in that way, you know what I'm saying? He got me through some very, very difficult times just by like being himself and rapping and like, and doing that thing, you know what I mean? I know that like, it was probably similar for you.
100%. I mean, anybody who knows Charlie knows bench day. He was the man when it came to bench. I don't know about leg day. I love you, Charlie. You know what I mean? I know you're listening. Leg day. It was type of squats. He was over there doing push-ups, but I'm just saying, I love him. Charlie was the man. He kept me focused. He kept me in the gym myself when we were young, and just the days that we went through a lot together. I mean, shout out Nabazinski, shout out all the people from back in the day, and all the pods that we lived in when we were younger. without Charlie, like, I mean, shout out even his ex-wife back then, and the lifestyle that we lived and the higher elevation of mind state that we were surrounded by back then. Just the level of life on the inside. It was the energy that he always brought. I don't remember seeing Charlie have too many bad days. And I think that's something that, you know what I mean, he taught me as a younger man, that no matter what your situation is, that's why he was a mastermind. You master your mind. It doesn't matter what your situation is or what your surroundings are. You can always find that happy place inside. And that's what Charlie did for me. And because of the conversations we had, he made me more mentally stronger than yes, obviously bench day, me and him would be battling. But, you know, Charlie made me mentally stronger just because he showed me how to stay happy. You know, sitting and doing years in solitary confinement like me and Charlie had to do, you know, we still had smiles on our faces. We'd still be talking trash. We'd still be working. You know, we stayed positive no matter wherever we were. And everybody else might have been like depressed or complaining about stuff or whatever, whatnot. Charlie, no. Charlie had that positive energy, positive vibes all the time.
And it was no matter what it was. But I also, you know, there's a part of me that's like, you hear his talent, the way he brought it, man, and how you know, I'm an old hip hop guy, man, and to have like his talent lyrically when we were in that setting was it was a gift, right? And I'm like wondering how he could have impacted the world, right? Like how if he could have spread this into the world in a way that would have been like, he could have been looked at as a gift. Instead, we were locked up or we were in these cages, you know what I'm saying? And it was like Charlie, I actually you know, I mean, every time I was in, he was there, you know what I'm saying? Every time I was like, you know, oh, I think he was in the hole with me, you know what I'm saying? And like, but he was like such a, you know what I mean? He had that energy that you talked about, that spirit that you're talking about. That's like, you can't find that in a lot of people, right? Teach it. And the talent to go with it. And it's like, I feel like, you know, Charlie was in the main youth center when he was 12 years old, I think, right?
Maybe even younger.
And, you know what I mean? And you see it like play out, like how he became so, how does a person become comfortable like that in a solitary confinement setting, right? How does the one person become so adept at that? You know what I mean? How do you become so good at being locked in a cage? You know what I'm saying?
Fortunately, I got that.
That's because of practice, right? You had to practice that shit. You had to practice how to do that stuff. And to do that to a, you know what I mean? A child, right? And then you see the impacts of it because, like, in a lot of ways, Charlie's talent and who he was stifled in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? It was, he impacted us. We know how important he was to this group of people that we did time with, but like, how impactful could he have been to the entire world?
The rest of the world's missing out on him. His talent, like he said, if we could have got more, think about how many more Charlies are out there. Probably not that many like him, because he was one of a kind, strength-wise and being charismatic like we was talking about. But like, imagine being able to bring his talent to the rest of the world. Like, he could have gone anywhere, his musically. Like, and nobody out there right now on TV could have matched him like that. Like, he was the man, and at a young age, and he could have definitely blown up and been a star. Instead, this is like Jeremy was just speaking about, like, they trained us at young ages to be okay, to be locked up. Major muscle, ICU, NSBs, all the above. And we just we all graduated that era. There wasn't too many success stories back then.
Well, it was always a game. There was always a hustle. There was always a game. It was always us versus the correctional officers, right? It was always us versus somebody else. And there was never like, let's get built up, see how you grow as you know what I mean? Like the rehabilitation never showed up. You know what I mean? And though in that time, it didn't feel like it did anyway.
No.
I was just we were down at the wood shop, and we went to we go up to the Boulder Correctional Facility every other week, and yesterday we were up there, and we went to the showroom, the wood shop showroom, and I was getting this dollhouse for my granddaughter's first birthday, And we saw somebody that we had done time. He said, "Oh, I thought you were in the wood shop." And they never actually let me in the wood shop. I never got a paying job like that. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out of my way. You know what I mean?
Right.
You only did because you were there for fun. I mean,
At the end, yeah.
like good. But like Charlie was in the same position. He could never get ahead either. You know what I mean? Or like we were always getting stuck in doing. You know what I mean? It was like I felt like we could never get ahead, and I wonder what the possibilities even for a guy like you, like where would we be? Like you can imagine like where we would be with the minds and the talent that we have now. Even like you said, the guys that that we were around back then that are still out here doing, they're still some of the smartest, hardworking people that I know. But we were set back in some way. You know what I'm saying? We're set back. Like Charlie was set back.
Right. It's hard to get past that, and you become scared. Like out here, people become comfortable or content in their situations, and a lot of people like me, Charlie's, that did a lot of time, that got our minds, you know what I mean, formed to being okay to do time. It's hard to get to the next level because we don't have the same connections legally that a person has out here that's been out here for 20 years or the same.
I also think, and Charlie, I don't think it's not a secret he did, have issues with substances and stuff, but like, how much of that is directly as a result of this, of experiences while you were incarcerated? You know what I mean?
Right. That's where a lot of it,
all that stuff coming from. Do we even actually go down that road if the system is important to our lives, you know?
To break up the monotony. I don't care who you are. When you're locked up, you get a chance to break the monotony of the day. You might do stuff that you might normally not do on the outside, on the inside. I've seen a lot of people break. I've seen a lot of people change up or do, like, try new things that they were just bored. They didn't know what else to go on. They had, you know what I mean, to keep their brains mentally stimulated. That's what changed a lot of people. Think about how many guys that went in that weren't addicts, that came out addicts after they were locked up. Like pretty much a huge majority of them, just to break up the monotony of it. And that's where a lot of
it's the lifestyle too that you get so like bought into where you're inside that you get out and like your whole social network is connected to this type of lifestyle. It's like very hard to break through from it. You know what I mean? It's like hard to find a new group of people or even like stay with the group of people you're at, but not, you know what I mean? It's like it's just so hard to like stay out of the mix after you've been down for so long. You don't know anything different. You know what I mean?
That's been your whole life.
It's like for a guy like you and Charlie, and like you've done a lot of time in solitary confinement, I can see, like you said, you train your mind in that environment. It's for so long. And then you come out here and you have to retrain your mind in some ways, right? And it's like, why couldn't that process happen a lot sooner for us? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't it happen? You know what I mean? Like, so you set yourself up and get out with a lot of good things. I mean,
well, guys like me and Charlie that stayed to the code and did this and did our time a certain way, what happens inside the system, you get punished for being strong. You get, you know what I mean? You get punished once, you know, if you're smart or you're strong or whatever. And once you choose that side, like staff is never going to let you into like certain school programs or certain work release jobs. Like me and Jeremy were at the showroom yesterday. I'm looking, like, I remember the days of my life where like a $2 an hour job was like the greatest goal in the world. That was the goal. And I couldn't even get it.
I think that we weren't even close to getting.
I couldn't even get it. I applied for all those things.
I couldn't get past spraying down the dishes, man, in the kitchen, man.
Yeah, if I cleaned a shower for $25 a month and something, I was happy. I was up. Yeah.
Oh man, we got a job, man.
Yeah. So some of us had to do what we had to do.
Restitution.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just glad I didn't have child support. I've been hit for that too once a year. But no, we didn't have a choice. Like, so we had to do certain things just to eat or whatever. So, and then you live that life and you become addicted to that lifestyle. The same thing Jeremy was just talking about. And then, so a guy like me and Charlie, that we've been in this lifestyle for our whole lives, like we come out to the streets and my whole social network, minus a select few, were people that are either dead, gone, been locked up, been in the game, whatever. So you don't how are you supposed to walk through the door and all of a sudden be 100% a civilian? You know what I mean? When you have, for this whole life, just like a civilian that gets locked up, that walks into prison the first day, they're not a convict. Just because you got a bid, just because you got a felony, just because you got caught with a gun or whatever, and you sold like 2 packs of drugs, you're not a convict. You're not, you know what I mean? That's just, you might have made a mistake. So when you walk through the door, you got to learn how to move and shake on the inside. Well, it's the same thing when you come reverse that, and people have a hard time understanding is when you walk outside, like a guy like me that didn't have any of these opportunities and stuff, like you're walking around, it's different for us. And so then you go back to what you know or what you're comfortable with, and you go back to the same old people and you start doing the same old things. And then since I've been home in the last 7 months or whatever, I can't tell you either how many friends of mine are already dead in the last few months. We were just talking about that at breakfast, or they're already locked back up, or they're gone. And then so you feel like you're by yourself a lot of times, and you don't, so, and then what are you supposed to do? Because you don't know any better. You can't do better if you don't know no better. So you have to educate yourself. You have to start learning. You got to figure out how to make it out here. Education's so important, but that's another episode. But make that fun of me. But seriously, I wish I could have went back and did some of those classes or got some of those jobs and changed up. But like, you know what I mean, guys, that just wasn't in the cards for guys like me and Charlie. It just, you know what I mean, Chuck was, I love and respect Chuck, and it just wasn't in the cards for both of us. But you can never give up.
No, you can't give up, man. You never give up.
Never give up.
And Charlie, I just want to make it clear too. I know Charlie had he said he had substance use issue, but like he did not die of a drug overdose.
Nope.
So I just want to make that clear. He did not pass away of a drug overdose, anything like that. So I just want to make that clear as we're moving on. But I do think that substances and you know what I mean, the sort of the lifestyle, it's a hard thing to overcome, man. And I think that it's very important for me to understand how talented Charlie was and how important he was to me, even though I hadn't talked to him in a couple of years. But Charlie left an impact. He left an impression on me as for the person that he was. You know what I'm saying? Not anything else, not the system, not none of this stuff, not how he was as a reputation, but who he was as a man. And that's like what I try to stick to, you know what I'm saying, in terms of Charlie. But then I look back, every time this happens, even like, you know what I mean, like last time when you went back and when you got locked up again last time, I was like, sorry, I always, something like that happens. Somebody gets locked up, it's close to me, somebody passed away, it's close to me. I always look back and go, man, what could have been different for this person for this day to come out, you know what I mean? And then I look back to Charlie, and like I said, I remember being, in my youth, a teenager, you know what I'm saying, like being in solitary confinement with him and like the connection that I made with him there. And then like to just really look at his life and go, man, like I wish that like that talent could have been unleashed and really like, how come the system didn't want that for him either? You know what I'm saying? How come the adults that we were working with in the youth center didn't want that for him? How come, like, you know what I mean? Like that it was just easy for the system for him to do this behavior, and then, okay, you're locked in a cage for this amount of time. Get out. Oh yeah, we'll boom, you're locked back in the cage. You know what I mean? Like just that back and forth thing that you watch happen. It's like, well, we try to help somebody, you know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to make like a kid, like, you know what I mean? Like, go through that process, have to grow up so quick, like never actually have a childhood, never get that thing, because Chuck was a character from day one, you know what I'm saying? Like he was just that type of a person, and you know what I mean? It's like, I really wish, like, and how many, like you were saying a minute ago, like how many kids are in the youth center right now, right, at the youth detention that are in the same scenario as him, that have all this talent that's going to get snuffed out because they're not getting the services that they need, or they're not getting the help, or like, so I can remember I was talking about this with somebody else. It was like a lot of kids that I was in the youth detention with were like, it's easier for me in the youth center than it is to go home and my dad beat me up. You know what I mean? Or something like that. You know what I mean? It's true. Yeah, to be there. I know that I'm gonna get food.
That's true.
Because I know that the group of guys that Charlie came up with, like, you know what I mean? They come on a poverty, man. They struggled. You know what I'm saying? Andy and you know what I mean? All these guys, they struggled in that area, and they were in the youth center. You know what I'm saying? Committing adult crimes. You know what I mean?
That's all we had to do.
And then you're like, you know, it's just to see, look back. I go, man, it is sad that like we stifle these people and the talent and the potential that they have for positivity in the world. You know, but I was also. It's like the thing that we're missing though is like the services on the other side. Like you can, right now there's a big movement in Maine to close down the youth detention center. But there's no services in the community, so where are these kids that need help going to go? It's either they stay in the situations, or they get subpar treatment, or they go to youth detention. You know what I'm saying? Or in a lot of ways, we're not really any farther ahead than we were kids and we were then. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's been years.
It's been years.
So why don't they get work on trying to fix what we have or add on to what we have instead of just taking it away and just locking these kids up and for no reason? You know what I mean? They're not going to get help. Like, you're going to lock a kid up to these 18 years old. What do you expect? You know what I mean? You got to have something there. You got to teach them something. You got to teach them either vocations or whatever. You got to teach them something, how to be productive, life skills more, focus on things like that so people can transfer out here and deal with it.
I mean, to be honest, if I would have just started with a little bit of love, man, you know what I'm saying?
Shit, what's that?
I wish I would have just somebody actually going, yo, we actually care about you, man. You know what I mean? Like, well, let's start there. Like, where is that message coming to these kids? You know what I'm saying? Or me, or us. Like, where was that?
Right now.
Right now, where's the love for these guys?
Something happens to you right now. Who's going to do something for you? I don't care about the people that are going to show up and say we missed them. Who's going to do something for you? You know what I mean?
Where the sir? Yeah, but seriously, where, sir? One of the things that I struggled with when you, and this is like probably, but it was like one of the last time you got locked up, you had just gotten out from doing 18 years. You went in when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And then, you know, I'm not saying probation should have been trying to jam you up, but they never came to your house until they arrested you.
Pretty much.
They never came to check on a guy that just got done doing 18 years. Their job is to supervise you and make sure you have everything you need.
Yeah.
And make sure that, like, you know what I mean? Nothing's going to happen. And they don't even come follow up with you until they bring you back to prison for another 7 years. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And I'm not saying that takes away your responsibility in the situation, but like maybe they could have been like, hey, maybe this guy's fucking breaking down a little bit. Maybe we can come give him a hand before he goes back. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, and you do that much time and stuff, there should be somebody following up with people in the community, right? There should be some resources.
As long as they're there to help you for the right reason.
Exactly. Not trying to push it back. Trying to help you. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's the problem in the prison system right now. You got guards becoming caseworkers. So you can't go talk to them. You can't speak to them because that dude's going to jam you up. You know what I mean? You can't even, you got to really censor what you're saying to these people. So it's like, what's the point of trust?
There's no trust.
There is.
There's no trust in that. I think that's what you were saying, and with the last of the dime breed, because I was at the you know what I mean, I was talking to somebody that we know, and he was trying to get into the recovery house and like try to do the right thing, and I said, hey man, I said, you gotta talk. He goes, how do I get in your house? He whispered to me off to the side. He goes, how am I? How can I get you your house? And I said, you got to talk to the caseworker and fill out the application, and then we'll come in and do a screening with you. He looked at me and he smiled a little bit, and he goes, I'm not talking to the caseworker. He goes, I'm not talking to the caseworker. He said, I'll call JJ. Right. And JJ will get a hold of you. Right. Like, that thinking though, like, but the guy had been in, you know what I mean, he's my age, and he smiled at me because he knew I understood that he wasn't talking to the case. Right. That he was going to do it a different way if he was going to do it. Right. But like, that was the mentality also that Charlie had, that a lot of us had, like, it was ingrained in that way. But like right now, it's not, it's like in the general, like I go up there, I'm in tune with it, and like, not necessarily. It's not like that anymore. Like people are accessing caseworkers. They are trying to get treatment. Recovery looks different inside the system, and they.
Correct. 100% recovery is definitely working.
You know what I mean? The educational programs are coming together. But I think Brandon and I were talking the other day about like, you know, and this is kind of part of the conversation. I was at this conversation. So Brandon I was like, we're going to do a speaking engagement pretty soon, and part of it was about education. And he was, and I said, listen, Brad, the difference between me and you is like, I never had access. I didn't know how, you know what I mean? Like, it was not actually it wasn't a thing for us.
10 to 15 guys.
Brandon getting his master's degree was a huge stride because it opens the door for us, because I never seen anything like that. Right? But could you imagine if I did? You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at it and go, man, I wish that, like, why was there this period of time that we weren't afforded this stuff, right?
Right.
Why?
I've asked,
and what are the ramifications of that for us? You know what I'm saying?
No, I asked back to
all I see is people dying all the time. I see people going back to prison all the time. I right outside our office
all the time.
I see people that did time with sleeping on the park bench like almost on a daily basis. So we're homeless in the streets. We're back in the prison systems. People are dying at an alarming rate. You know what I mean?
Every day out there. Every day. So what can we do differently for them, like, on a result?
So, honestly, this may be hard, man, but I feel like it's a generational thing. It's like, you know, it's just like generational poverty, generational things like that, right? Like I went into I go into the youth center with, sometimes with Andre Hitch, and I went in there and I see 4 guys' kids that I was in the youth center with, I was in the youth center with. Their kids are now in the youth center.
Sucks,
right? And it's like it's generational. So can we actually do anything for us, for our group, other than like connect and try to like be there for the guys that are able to like join us. You know what I'm saying? That's like part of what the podcast is about, is like be like, okay, well, you're not alone right now. You know what I'm saying? I understand where you're at because like for some people, re-entry has been very much very, very different than what's going on now. You know what I mean? Like they have the main prisoners re-entry network. They got like these things, our program, like they got people coming in to try to help with re-entry. We never had that. We had massive thousands of people getting out with $50. You know
right. They didn't give me the $50.
Well, they probably took it for
Yo, they didn't give me the $50.
Yeah, they took it.
You don't see shout out, you owe me $50.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's how they would let us go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's been so the whole re-entry thing now is like it's looking a lot different. But even now,
growth.
You actually have to be like the caseworker that you're working with has to be doing their job. The resources of the community sometimes have to be doing their job. You got to have a place, and so like things are falling apart a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's what you guys do here. You know, our column does a huge difference out here just in Lewiston and Auburn compared to other places. I've been all over the state of Maine. And this is definitely the best organization going on right now. Without this,
that's off to the side. But what I'm trying to say is that we, for a guy like Charlie, like what his re-entry plan look like had it been had these, you know what I mean? Like things been afforded to him, and like why couldn't he have been like promoted to work on his music when he got into the community, right? Like get a paycheck. He's like literally was talented enough to get paid for it. Like why can't we put people on when they're inside? Why can't we look at people and go, what's the best for you? Let's figure out what you're gonna do out here. What do you want to do with your life?
Like a diagnostics test and
like figure it out. Stuff. Like
that's what really
a real plan. You know what I mean?
That's a realistic. That's a huge idea what he's just talking about right there. That's what really needs to happen. You got to sit there. You got to figure out what's realistically what you're going to be able to do when you walk out of here, and how you're going to live your life. And like, let's get real about it. $50 and just kicked out the door isn't gonna work, you know. And like I said, vocational, but like some people artists, like, you know, Chuck was the man. So if you don't know any better, you can't do any better. So maybe some more educated people need to step up and go into the prison systems and help people develop the skill sets that they already have, or get that process going in a step in the right direction. Because it's not going to be 100% perfect success rate in either direction, but you gotta get a starting point. You know, people are walking out of here and, like, let's face facts. How many people are on the inside right now that got a year left or less that are getting released, that don't have a plan right now, that are waiting on their caseworker? And for one, it's not even their caseworkers. I mean, it's their responsibility, but it's not. You know, you can't cry and whine about it. You have to take care. You have to take control of your own life out here. Or even when you're inside, and get yourself ready. But there's a lot of obstacles, was the word I like to use earlier in the conversation with somebody. And when you're a real person, like Chuck was, like myself was, like Jeremy was, that maybe got yourself in some situations along the way because you weren't satisfied with your living conditions and you wanted better for yourself on the inside, you get stigmatic and you get held back from going to educational things and work release jobs and all the above. And what we need to do in the future is take people like everybody and look at what they're really going to be doing when they get out of prison and push them towards realistic goals. Realistic, you know, not everybody's going to be an NBA player. Not everybody's going to have a sneaker deal. So a lot of us are going to have to go to work, and you got to figure out what you can do and realistically, geographically, what you can do. You know, you're not going to be a big time salesman living in Washington County compared to you want to sell cars in Portland, you know, so you just got to think. And you got to plan and strategize, because let me tell you, life is real out here. Life is really real out here. And I've been home for 7 months myself, and it's bills are coming in. Life comes in. Just when you start thinking you're getting ahead, you know, life will come and hit you. Bam, bam. And it hits us hard sometimes. And guys like me and Chuck and Jeremy that have a history, we don't get treated the same. Even now, we're never going to be getting treated the same. So we have to just fight and work even harder. And I hope everybody out there that's struggling on the inside and on the outside in the same situation I am, or everybody's in, you got to plan realistically. You got to put the work in, and you can't be lazy out here. If you're lazy, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. You're not going to you can't rely on other people to do what you got to do yourself. You know, and that's, you got to take, nobody's going to care about you like yourself. You got to just do what you got to do, you know?
Yeah. You do got to put in the work, man. It's like sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes it hurts a little bit, you know what I mean? But we got to keep on, we just got to keep moving in this thing, man. But Chuck really represented a lot to me, man. When in his passing, it was like, you know, all those memories and stuff like that of being locked up, and I seen him out here a couple times after we were incarcerated together, and you know, he was getting married, and he was trying to put his life together, man. That's why it breaks my heart that this is the end of his story. You know what I'm saying? I think that the thing for me is that that's why it's important for me to do this podcast about Chuck, because I want to document it, man. I want to put it out in the energy in the air, so hopefully he knows how much I love him and supported him.
Legacy. Chuck, you left a legacy behind, man. We'll never forget you. Well, at least I won't. You know what I mean? And a whole lot of other people won't either.
That's how these guys stay alive, man. Is that we keep them alive, man. We talk about like the positive things that they were about, like who they were as people. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I have a debt of gratitude for him for helping me get through those nights, man. I would have slept in them concrete cages, man. It was Charlie always kept me laughing, and I'll never forget them words, man. He used to write, you know what I mean, and kept us going out there, man. Yeah. Real, and that's why I wanted to do the podcast about Chuck, and really just really for everybody, every one of my brothers that have fallen down over the years, and all the good people out there that like have been impacted so severely by the carceral system that the world never got to see. We love you guys.
Try to black on the feeling. Life's a gamble, hit the streets, now I'm back to the dealing. I don't tolerate the ratting and squealing. I give you apple appealing. I stash the cannon in your bathroom ceiling. Didn't ask, I'll be back before I'm done healing. Face the fact, fam, you're one in a billion. Made man and I run with Sicilians. My comrades run up in buildings, put the guns to the children and hurt your feelings. I know about breaking bread with convicted villains, hard-headed, cannibalistic killers, self-enlisted, animalistic gorillas. Nicest of the nice, deep from within spillers. I put your fucking head on ice, now you chinchillas.